Today we are thrilled to be joined by Robert Port, Oscar-winning director of Twin Towers, the timely new documentary exploring services, sacrifice, and the enduring impact of 9/11. Robert, thank you for being here with Victoria's Communications. How are you?
Lovely. Good to meet you. Thank you for taking the time.
What inspires you to create Twin Towers Legacy, and what motivates you to follow the story, the Vigiano family?
So, in the film, we follow the three sons of a very good friend of mine, Joe Vigiano, who is a detective in the NYPD, who died on 9/11 heroically. And I had done a film on Joe back in 2001, 2002, that won the Academy Award in 2003 for a short documentary. I stayed friendly with his family. His children were very young at the time, 6 months, 6 years, 8 years old. And on the 20th anniversary of 9/11, despite their mom wanting them to become doctors and accountants and lawyers, here they found themselves in the NYPD Academy after being in the Marine Corps. And I thought to myself, this is amazing. I mean, the legacy that's being carried on, instantly, I knew that was the name of the film, the tradition, but why? Why are they doing this? Are they doing this because they feel compelled to, because they feel the weight of it? Or are they doing this because they really want to, and they want to learn to know their father and their mom, who was an incredible police officer as well, who raised them incredibly. And so I set out on this journey to document that, and it turned into a much larger project than I initially had thought.
Right. What was the biggest challenge you faced while creating this documentary, and how did you overcome it?
So the biggest challenge, we can look at it two ways. Technically, the biggest challenge was, I do a lot of scripted stuff. I've directed feature films, and I write a TV. So I like to shoot these documentaries like cinematic movies. So from a technical standpoint, it's very, very difficult to film like that when you're going 90 miles an hour through the streets of New York City, lights and sirens, and to hop out of a car in the middle of these situations, and not get yourself hurt and be able to film it. So cinematically, that was an enormous challenge. My cinematographer, Jeff Sussman, he literally invented ways to, he invented camera parts, he invented rigs, he specifically invented things to allow us to shoot these film in a much more cinematic standpoint. From a story standpoint, the toughest thing was the sheer volume of time. 4.5 years. I figured I would shoot this film for a year and a half, but every time I flew back to LA and edited, I would get a phone call from New York. You got to come next week. You're not going to believe what's happened. Joey just got onto ESU. This just happened. This just happened. And I couldn't stop filming. So that was the challenge. I have so much footage. It's like 9 terabytes of footage. So that artistically was the most challenging thing. Is the film could be going on now. Honestly, I could still be filming. These kids are just unbelievable. They don't stop.
Right. I can't believe you. How did you think your prior experience directing documentaries help you to get approach this
So,
project?
that's a great question. And I would say that I think that directing feature films and directing narrative actually serves me much better when I go back to documentaries, because it reminds me to calm down and not worry about shooting every single frame of film, and to set out each day and make a script. And I don't mean that anyone's saying lines or faking things, but set out with an outline, set out with a schedule, just as I would with a feature film. It's going to go left and it's going to go right. But if I start with a narrative every morning of what I would like to do, just like it was a regular feature film, it keeps us much more organized. And it's amazing, because what happens is, whether it's just fate, a lot of times things fall into place. All of a sudden, someone will come up to me and say, "Hey, are you interested? This afternoon there's going to be this incredible helicopter rescue, or, maybe you should ride with these guys. You haven't met them yet. I know you're looking for somebody different today. You were mentioning some new faces." And next thing you know, like, this was a call we went to that didn't make it into the film. A woman was bitten by a shark last summer. And, we were at that call, and it had no place in the film. But I just find that if you script and you stick to the narrative stuff, then you are organized, and it helps me, at least, a lot more with the documentary process.
Wow. What main message do you want the public to take away from Twin Towers legacy?
To me, it's the last line, the last graphic in the film. I'm not giving anything away. That says the film's dedicated to the 32,000 men and women of the NYPD who continue to form their own legacy every day. I just want viewers to be respectfully mournful of 9/11, but to remember that out of that have come these incredible men and women, these legacies, the children of the firefighters and the first responders in the NYPD, like the Vigiano boys, who go on and are doing the Lord's work every single day, and they're not alone. Our first responders in this country, you can hear the siren right now. These men and women are incredible. I've spent thousands and thousands and thousands of hours over 3 decades filming with these various folks, and they never ask what somebody's ethnicity is on the end of that 911 call. They never ask what your political beliefs are. They risk their lives. So when you're having the worst day of your life, you can get better. That's what I want, a message of hope and inspiration.
Incredible. How do you decide which stories and characters do you to include in your documentaries to maximize emotional impact?
Yeah, that was another one. I mean, listen, there were other characters who I knew from 20 years ago. And it's the rhythm of the film. When you look at the film, not to sound like a snob, or some kind of, artiste, but just like music, there's a rhythm to the film. You look at it and you feel boom, 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 ba boom, and you go, you know what? That person is in the film, but not enough. We got to take them out. We got to have that nice rhythm to the film. And unfortunately, people I love who are near and dear to me, I couldn't include in the film who were important to Joe. But they were there in spirit, and they all got to be there for the premiere and be a part of it. So
Oh, amazing. What's your approach to creating an emotional connection between the audience and the characters in your documentaries?
I'm a very gregarious person, much like yourself. I love talking, I love people, and I sort of look at my films that way. I like to make people laugh. And then when they're done laughing, you like to be a little serious with them. And you can't be afraid to then open up yourself and be emotional. And so for me, when I do these films, those are the 3 things that are in my mind. I try not to go funny story, funny story, funny story, right? Again, it goes back to the rhythm. If I tell a funny story, great. Let's take a moment now. And is it time for action? Does that funny story inform the action? Does that action then inform an emotional moment? You see in the film, we have both. We have humorous stories that lead to emotional moments from the boys. And so that's sort of how I try to keep to that, but mostly hire an amazing editor, which I did in this case, Paul Buell. Hire a phenomenal editor who, when I talk all that nonsense, kicks me out of the room and makes it happen. So that's the real key.
Do you have any future project in mind that you would like to share with us?
Someone else just asked me that question. I'm not sure what documentary I want to do next. I want to do something in law enforcement again, but I want to do something more historical. I'm very, 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 very interested in doing things in law enforcement like this film that speak to a specific historical period, but are very much in the status quo. So I'm really thinking and looking at dealing with the desegregation of law enforcement in America in the 50s and 60s, because our largest police departments, NYPD, LAPD, Chicago Sheriff's Department in LA, these are all massively majority minority departments. I think it's really fascinating to go back and take a look at that process, because it wasn't that long ago. People don't realize that, they had separate police cars, just like our infantry was segregated. So I'm trying to hone in on that, but you got to find the people. Unfortunately, so many wonderful men and women are no longer with us. The years march on, so you have to find the people to be able to talk to make great documentary films.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you so
sharing
much.
all this with us.
I wish you well. Have a lovely day, Victoria.
Robert, thank you so much for taking the time to share your insights and stories behind Twin Towers' legacy. Your passion and commitment to honoring this legacy are deeply felt. We'll be moved by what you've created. We wish you a successful launch and look forward to following what comes next.
Victoria's Communications.